Question. So,
Yep.
an object flying through the sky, on Earth, right? It is only slowed by the gravitational pull against its mass, correct?
Negative.
So what
It's
would...
also
Go ahead.
it's also slowed against the friction of the atmosphere.
Okay, so it's the gravitational pull and...
Yeah.
Fucking A, I can't even
So,
see. This fucking shit is so ridiculous.
um, so anytime anything is in parabolic orbit under the stratosphere,
Okay.
um, you're going to have molecules that are hitting the surface of the object, right? So humidity, um, density of oxygen, density of nitrogen, density of ozone, whatever that object is passing through is hitting all of those molecules. So it's essentially going to slow it down. Light coming into our atmosphere. Think about it if you were in outer space, and then you hit our atmosphere, you're moving so fast that all of those particles are going to melt you because you're hitting them so quickly.
Okay. So it's the atmosphere and the gravitational pull that will slow down an object based on its mass.
Correct.
So if an object is moving through space, outside of hitting a celestial body like an asteroid, a moon, or a planet, because there is, without gravitational pull and without the atmosphere, then that would mean that there is nothing slowing it down regardless of its mass. And it can move at the same exact speed for infinite amount of distance, provided it doesn't run into a celestial body. Correct?
Not exactly.
Okay.
So you still have things that are exiting planets and exiting stars.
Hmm.
So gamma rays, X rays, infrared light,
But light
basically
doesn't
all of
affect
that.
slowing down of mass, physical slowing down of an object.
Yeah, actually it will. If you take the solar winds of the sun,
Well, now we're talking about
um,
winds, not light.
well, that particle a photon is not only a wave, but it's also a particle also. Okay,
Hmm.
so you have those little things that we call light are actually particles. And to my knowledge, it's been, time and tested and proven, zillions of times over. But so when you have any type of radiation, no matter what it is, coming off of an object, you have so say if we launched a satellite towards the sun, right?
Mhm.
Um, it would have to be moving fast enough before it got close enough to the sun to overcome that radiation to actually be able to make it to the sun, or the sun would just blow it away from it. Kind of
So
like
then, so then it's just celestial bodies again interfering. So if there's
correct,
not near celestial bodies, it will not be slowed.
correct. As far as I know, um, the only thing that I know of that doesn't do that is Stephen Hawking radiation, and I may be wrong on this. Um, but to my knowledge, the only thing that is faster than the gravitational pull of a black hole is Stephen Hawking radiation.
Okay.
So at that point, um, you would actually exceed the speed of sound and the speed of light. I'm sorry, not sound, but you would exceed the Stephen Hawking radiation exceeds
Well, I mean, it's still a
the
true statement
speed of light.
because light exceeds the speed of sound. So,
Right, right.
so it's still a true
Uh,
statement.
yep. Uh, so as far as astrophysics and uh, the way that any object moves in the universe is determined on physics that we don't understand yet. I mean, to just put it straight up, our physics here on Earth are different, and all sorts of other places in the universe they don't work. The mathematical equation doesn't work. So physics here on Earth are completely different, and the mathematical equations that we use are completely different. Our math doesn't work in certain aspects of the universe, so we still don't understand it. I said this in 8th grade. E might not equal mc squared,
Well, on
and
Earth it does.
plenty of people. And plenty of people have mathematics that proves Einstein and Rosenberg wrong.
Yeah, but their math that they're talking about is exclusively here on Earth. They're not taking into account in space. And even then, we still don't have all of the math or the technology to be able to actually prove or disprove Einstein's theories, because it wasn't until after he was dead we were even able to prove one of his theories.
Right. So when we get back to the original thing, if gravity is the only thing that slows something down in the universe, we don't know the answer. We just have theories. And those theories that we know of here might not work in other places. That math might not work in another atmosphere. That math might not work in another type of gravitational pull that we don't know about. It's undiscovered yet, so we can't prove it or disprove it. I mean, mathematically speaking, think about it this way. Mathematically speaking, it's impossible for there not to be life in another galaxy, whether it be a single-celled organism or something with an advanced brain. It's mathematically impossible. If we say just one Earth in the Milky Way, right, of trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of stars, if one planet in one galaxy is available, then there's trillions and trillions of galaxies, so there's trillions and trillions of Earths. We just can't get there.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was just purely talking about speed in space.
Yep. So infinitely, if you're in space, basically you would just increase speed until either gravity or some other type of particle slowed you down. It could even be dust. You have big, huge nebulas. So if you were traveling through a nebula, yes, would it slow you down? Sure. Just the different gases that are there, just hitting those molecules would minutely, and I mean like, microscopically slow you down.
Let's see here.
So
God, the intent says air resistance, gravity, particle friction, centrifugal force, myriad of things. There are vast amounts of forces besides gravity and space. Solar winds or radiation. My statements have been seen too late. Haha. Planets can emit different forces, possibly comets, asteroids, moons. Yeah, again, I'm removing all celestial bodies in this question. That was
gotcha.
the question, is without celestial bodies interfering. If you are in a straight line, moving in open space with no celestial bodies in your path or near your path, is there anything slowing you down, or do you just maintain that speed infinitely?
In theory, you would increase speed, except for we're missing one thing that we can't explain is dark matter.
That's fair. That's always going to be it. I don't know that we're going to get an explanation in either mine or your lifetimes.
Okay, so Um, I mean, we're talking about the basic fabric of space and time. Um, so, uh, eh, flip a quarter, on who gets the Nobel Prize on that. Um,
I think it should go to Sheldon Cooper. Doesn't he
yeah,
study
yeah,
dark
Sheldon,
matter?
something like that. I have no idea. I always wanted to stuff him in a trash can. Um,
All right, let me finish reading
but
this stuff here. Planets can emit different forces, possibly comets, asteroids, moons, and many forms of cosmic radiation, and forces unobserved to humans because we are earthbound so far. Also true. Hmm. Anyways, let's see here. Edward Hansen says, "What's up, Bear?" Bouncer says, "Hey, what's
say
up,
hello,
Bear?"
brother.
Let's see. Quantum tunneling and quantum pairing don't agree with E equals mc squared.
Correct.
Okay, not exactly mathematically impossible, just so unlikely that it would be ridiculous to happen. I'm guessing you're talking about the life in other planets, or planets being like Earth. And I
Mhm.
gotta say, for that one, Carl Jung is my got my favorite quote on that. It's there's two theories on whether or not we're alone in the universe. First one is we are. Second one is we're not. Either way, they're both equally terrifying.
Exactly. You're exactly right. That's why I stick with my favorite quote from Thomas Jefferson, right? Either do something worth writing about or write something worth doing.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually. I hate fucking writing. I was whenever I meet new people or someone gets brought into our family as like a relationship to somebody else who's already in the family, I always get that whole, wow, you should write a story about everything you've done. It's like, I don't want to fucking write a story about everything I've done. I hate fucking writing. I definitely
Yeah,
fall
that's
into
when
the
you
category of do something.
exactly, right? That's me too. Well, that's what that this is what happens when we get old. See, at that point, and then we just sit down with the publisher, okay, tell our story, and then somebody else writes it, and then we approve it.
Oh no. People like you and I can't do that. We would. Do you know how many? Do you know how many committees would be created if people like you and I wrote stories?
Well, I mean, keep our NDA stuff in the back pocket, but just
Okay, that's fair. Yeah,
tell the true stories of what went on. We can still paraphrase,
that's true. There are certain
right?
aspects, even if we did talk about some of the NDA stuff, that if we leave certain points out or certain pieces of information out, it still technically isn't in a violation.
Correct. So if you look at guys, who are the oh God, now I'm gonna forget. I'd have to look it up, but there's three gentlemen. Two of them are on Ancient Aliens. The other one is a uh, former spec ops guy. That's written a bunch of stuff. Was with naval intelligence and a whole bunch of other things. And
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
yeah,
Navy SEAL. I'm so used to them writing books.
yeah. I just read the bugging in guide, so
Mm.
that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Uh, Basically, how to make your fortress. Um, Living off grid. I put the link in my Discord. Interesting read. But let's see. I got the uh, Butcher's Revelry, the Ghoul Saw, um, the Plague, Kripith, Boken, Kiwar, Aquin. Um, I got the Exodia Contagion. Um, what is that called? That's an arcane. Um, and then I bought 10 of them. So it's at rank 3 right now, I think. Uh, and then the sacrifice, the fulmination, and stacked up 48 forma.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's been a pretty cool event for me. I was looking for 100. I was looking, what did I say, 100 forma.
Yep.
Um, but with all the other stuff that was here, uh, I picked up on a bunch of that too. So I'd probably be uh, somewhere around 75 or so if I didn't purchase all that other stuff. Oh, and SKV, conned me into getting the Asperus Apex Ephemera. You know,
Oh, I got all the cosmetics out of that. I've been hoarding all cosmetics lately.
yeah, I'm like, what kill shit? Okay,
All right, let me
right?
finish getting caught up here on chat.
Absolutely.
Um, Not exactly mathematically impossible, just unlikely to happen. It would be ridiculous to happen. Acceleration is true vacuum. In a true vacuum, doesn't slow as far as observed, but space is not a true vacuum.
Correct.
Well, I didn't say true vacuum. I said in space,
Okay.
and you create a path where it does not intersect with any celestial bodies, and there are no celestial bodies near it. Not a true vacuum, still space, just as far away from fucking celestial bodies as you can possibly be.
Yeah. At that point, in theory, you should not slow down. In fact, most of the things that we would say is that you would actually, there's nothing stopping you from accelerating, so that you would just keep accelerating.
Mm, that's true, because even if you tried to set a standard pace, that would require artificially slowing down to reach that number, or accelerating and then stopping the acceleration. Which either way, uh, that'll end up slowing it down in the long run, no matter how small. So yeah, it'd be an
Right.
infinite acceleration, or a gradual slowing down, regardless if there's celestial bodies nearby or not.
Right.
Hmm. Yeah, I somehow muted the stream through muting O Opera Opera. I don't know what that's supposed to be, and it took me forever
Oh,
to figure out how to unmute it. I'm gonna select like 5 minutes. Oh, that's unfortunate. Shitty. Quantum tunneling will probably be the easiest form of FTL we will find
mhm.
any reasonably close time frame. Well, the other thing that they need to do, continue to research, is cryogenics, because in theory, if you can suspend the progression of human cells and then reactivate them safely, then you can travel any distance. It just because you can suspend time essentially for the individual organic, and that'll help with traveling through space. Because without that
Yes.
technology, we can't use our current technology to travel, which means we are limited as far as like materials that we have access to be able to study or create things from. Um, and the other thing is we honestly need a destination that's worth it. That's another big fact. Is like going to Mars. It's cool just to say it's been done, but it's not really worth it to any government. There's not a natural resource there that we absolutely have to fucking have that's going to be a game changer for any one country. So that would be the other thing is like you really want to jumpstart the space stuff is like you have to give us a destination that has materials or resources on it or an atmosphere on it or something that a government can benefit from, because then the governments will compete to see who can get there first. and that'll jumpstart
Yeah,
the development of space technology.
we already have that. Let me look at what the name of the planet is.
Well, you talking about the one out? It's like, oh, what is it? Did he? It wasn't the Hubble telescope discovery. It was the other one.
So the
The
closest
fucking
planet considered
satellite. What was the name of the
closest
satellite? The one that discovered
uh,
it.
it wasn't a satellite, it was the James Webb.
Really?
Um, yeah. So the closest planet considered to be Earth-like is Proxima Centauri b, orbiting the star Proxima Centauri just 4.2 light years away. So James Webb is looking.
It is better to die for the
So if
Emperor
you look
than
at
live
the
for
SETI
yourself.
program, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, right? Um, all of our radio telescopes of old, all of our normal telescopes, even Hubble, um, have been looking for planets. And the way that they discovered these planets is because that the star that they orbit around actually dims while that planet is in front of it. So we see this really, really, really minute um,
So
diffraction of light.
the
And then James Webb started looking at these. Uh,
the um, Kepler 452 Bravo that you were just talking
yep,
about
yep.
is considered to be Earth-like. However, no planet has ever been confirmed to have conditions suitable for life because we have not been able to get anything, including satellites, close enough to them to be able to test the chemical makeup of their atmospheres.
Yeah, but we have spectral. I'm gonna forget this
That's a
word.
statement
Anyway,
from NASA, just so you know. NASA is stating
yeah,
that we have never confirmed habitable planets. We have found Earth-like planets, but we have not confirmed that they actually happen.
right. So basically, when we look at planets and we look at stars, we put them through spectral analysis,
Mhm.
and we can see what elements are there because of the way the light refracts off of it. Stars create their own light, planets reflect light, which means that that reflected light can be put through spectral analysis, and we can determine what elements are there in the atmosphere. And radio telescopes can do that also. X-ray telescopes can do that also. If you look at what makes Kepler and James Webb so awesome is because that they actually look at the universe in light that we can't see. So, like if you take the picture of the pillars of creation, um, that big dust cloud that's there, creating those, pillars of basically what they call the star factory or a nursery for stars. Um, that picture is actually four different pictures, or three or four different pictures that are overlaid onto each other of different spectrums of light. And that's the picture that we commonly know. So at as we're looking up at
The Hubble
up
telescope is a satellite. It orbits in low Earth, so it is a
mhm,
satellite. It's considered a satellite, even though they're calling it a fucking telescope.
yep. And from if I'm not wrong here, James Webb sits out a little bit further, giving it a clearer picture. Not only the optics better, way better in the James Webb, but it sits further out from Earth, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to do a fact check on that.
It's supposed to do something similar to Voyager 1. Just further. Fuck, I can't find the name of this damn thing. I'll fuck with that later. Nobody came here for space talk. Alright. Get caught up on chat here. Speak to text software can write words for you. Speak however they're writing. I know you know that. I'm being silly. Fair enough. Grinding for Excalibur Umbra is a pain, but worth it once you get him, which I'm doing right now. Very nice. Yeah. For people who like. Oh, first of all, everyone has to get the Umbra Excalibur. You have to go through the main storyline and get him. That is a hard choke point from continuing going forward. But it's a wonderful frame for anybody who loves melee frames. I personally like guns, so I don't use melee frames as heavily. But he is a wonderful frame if you like melee frames, for sure.
Also, hello.
Hey, Butler. 1 second. Here. Get all the Zons. Only place to get them is this event. Well, Arcanes you can buy from Warframe Market for plat. The path wouldn't be straight if you never hit a celestial body that we know of. Inside the Milky Way galaxy. But if you were to exit the Milky Way galaxy right outside of the arms, we have theories, we have images, but we don't actually know. Because space is also constantly changing because objects are constantly moving. What was... Oh, I remember the name... Oh, okay. What's the satellite? That captured Star Nursery. What was the name of that one? Hubble, James Webb, and Gaia. Those are the three.
Yep.
Let's see. Astronomers from Milky Way. Images. So it's not Hubble's. So is James Webb newer than Hubble? No. James Webb was like 1977, wasn't it?
No, Webb is new.
Webb's
Newer.
the new one?
Yeah,
So-
Webb's the new one. Hubble. I worked
Hubble's
on
the
the
old
Hubble.
one.
I was at the Voyager 1 launch with my parents. I was 4.
Nice. Opera browser, sorry. Like opera as in performance opera? That's pretty cool. I haven't been to an opera in a long time. Alright. I'll leave the stream up lurking, but I only well, some VI installs. Okay, nice. Well, thank you for the lurk. I appreciate it. Quantum tunneling is energy and understanding a problem, not resources specifically, but to get the energy is where resources problems become the issue.
Yep.
Okay. There is nothing on Mars for survival of mankind yet. The theory that Musk is using is he's going to send satellites to basically create like a redirected, like a magnifying glass when you burn bugs, plants, whatever, with the magnifying glass and the sun's light. Trying to do that with a series of satellites to melt the polar caps on Mars so that the gases release and create an atmosphere, and then we'll start the slow natural terraforming process. That's the theory that he's running with, last I've heard. But then it'll become a habitable planet, and then we can become a multi-planetary species.
Exactly.
What's
up,
like History Channel after 2 in the morning? I don't know. History Channel after 2 in the morning, that's when you got the weird, like, fucking aliens. Man didn't do anything. Aliens. That's
Well,
History Channel at 2 in the morning.
exactly.
We're talking about...
Yep. Welcome in, Elijah. Thanks for joining. We're just having some space talk and running some Warframe, man. How you doing? Go for it.
But yeah, like, we're talking about actual science and space stuff that is known or that we have an idea of that is definitive, not aliens. Not saying they don't exist, but I'm saying we don't have enough evidence to prove one way or the other. But I am talking about just the science portions. You need to pitch in here, smart guy. We are talking about space acceleration and space travel. We had some golden planets, and they measured the planet and IR on the tools compared. We can't look at it perfectly habitable, but we can see it in real time. Only pass. That's true. Yep. Like which aspects? Right now, we are on if habitable planets are actually habitable like our own Earth, or we would need special equipment for it. Well, most like every planet besides Earth probably requires some sort of equipment because of the small differences in the environmental stuff. Yeah, and then the amount of gravitational force that would be on the planet's surface. It's also going to vary from planet to planet, even if it meets all the other conditions. So that's another big one. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Hey, Phoenix, how's it going? Welcome in. Intergalactic objects are confirmed, so essentially, probability of a straight path probably pretty small and ever-changing for many factors. That's true. Ever since 3IA showed its nose, I have been seeing its aliens on every tinfoil platform, which really messes with my tinfoil reception signal. Nice. All right. I see that Ponder, Silver Phoenix, and Butler have all joined voice chat. Welcome in, gentlemen.
Howdy, howdy.
So what is everyone up to? Don't talk
Not
all
too
at
much,
once.
just painting her.
All the same old crap, different dick.
What are you painting? Skaven, Iron Hands?
More Iron Hands. Also, I read about Iron Hands. Holy God, are they hardcore?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they are.
And I mean, like, this is compared to every other chapter. Like, holy crap.
Yeah,
Yep.
the weakest flesh attitude kind of goes to the extreme.
That's
Well-
putting it lightly.
Well, let's be fair about why they're hardcore. They're hardcore because nobody's fucking updated their lore in the last 20 years.
Yes.
Surprisingly, they actually have a lot of lore, and that's what I've found, which is the interesting part.
Is it lore or is it the codex entries that they're calling lore?
No, it's like actual lore. Like, they have a lot of, like, actual unique characters.
Well, yeah, they got the
Surprisingly.
Forge Fathers.
Well, they have the Forge Fathers, they have the Iron Council, they have the Iron Fathers, and they have several of them.
Yep.
It's just we've
Too
never
bad they
had it on
can't.
the tabletop, so.
Yeah, and you know, too bad they can't actually get any books.
I mean, Iron Hands actually has some books, surprisingly, that I'm trying to find, like, audio versions of.
I'm pretty sure the Tau have more books than they do.
Iron Hands have, I think, only 5 books currently, but I want to still read them.
Yeah, that's it. That's all they have. They don't have very many of them.
No, still want to read them all, though.
Yeah, they're good books. I've read them all.
What's up, Scareborne?
Hey, how's it going? Welcome in. Oh, someone's in here with me. Who is that? Big Bear. Ah, nice.
What's up, Bear?
What's happening, Ned?
Kicking back, watching the stream. So I wanted to jump in for. Hey, Scareborne,
Yes.
the dojo.
Yes.
What goes on in the dojo? Bear took me through a tour, but I never went in and did anything.
Okay, so the big thing for you at this stage would be the various different research labs, because they will have blueprints that you can purchase, of like warframes, weapons, things of that nature. So that's the big one for you current. Hold on a second. For some reason, they're pretending like I'm fucking slowed. Joe?
You mean like they throttled your internet to
No, like my
all
character
oh,
started firing super slow and moving super slow. It's like, listen, the enemy that's hitting me is fucking toxin. Not cool.
well, it's they stuck in some cold in there.
So anyways, the research labs, you'll get blueprints you can purchase with credits, and that'll give you more access to weapons and warframes and things of that nature. Butler also added a obstacle course where you can kind of practice your skills and then see and compare your times against the fellow clanmates. Later in the game, as you progress, you'll get access to a thing called a railjack, and the clan dojo will be the home for your railjack. And then much later on, when it's all built, everything's researched, then what'll end up happening is we'll get a section of the dojo set up so that everyone that wants to, by no means is it a requirement, but anyone who wants to can build their own personal private quarters in the dojo.
Yeah, Elijah. So right now I'm using Caliban Prime. Sorry.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
So right,
Sorry.
right
But-
now I'm just doing old missions from Earth, and then I'm gonna come right on back to Venus. I'm doing E Prime next. I'm just taking a smoke break outside.
nice. Butler, when are we going back to Total War?
I'm okay whenever.
You back to
Yeah.
gaming now, Scare? You back on the stream?
I've been on the stream for an hour and a half.
No, I mean, are you gaming right now? Or you just still have it on the pause menu?
Ah, yes, no, I am actively in Sanctuary Onslaught. Hey, Bear, I'm not going to be able to get out of this tunnel system, so we'll extract after this.
10-4. Elijah, yeah, absolutely, definitely worth playing Warframe. Really cool game. Lots of stuff involved in it. We've got a great community here. You're more than welcome to join. You can come on stream with us. You can come and voice chat with us. We can teach you the game. Awesome community here.
Looking at Scareborne playing Hammer, that's real interesting. I never heard of the game.
Butler,
Play completely.
how long are you going to be up for?
I mean, I already slept, so
So you mean that we could actually make some serious progress, is what you're telling me?
y'all.
Okay. So, I want to, at minimum, get this Kuva Grattler knocked out. And get my Pyrana built out, if that's cool.
You do your thing. I'm just painting.
Well, I really want to make progress with Cetra. I've done some more research on him. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know a lot about 40k. I don't know a lot about Sigmar and Fantasy.
Yep.
But I can tell, based on what I know he got a far better fucking offer than Horus ever got from the Chaos Gods. Is there anyone who's ever had an equivalent offer? Because, like, Homie was literally offered everything that he could ever possibly fucking want if he would just serve.
All he had to do was bow to the Chaos Gods. But Cetra does not serve.
Yep, Cetra rules.
Exactly. There's no one really kind of had the equivalent of, like, you mean like equivalent to like what Horus had?
No. The equivalent of what Cetra was offered, because Horus didn't even get that sweet of a deal offered to him.
Oh, I guess Archeon kind of like the Everchosen kind of had like a pretty good deal, just in general.
Hey guys, I'll be right back.
But it was less of like that person was able to keep their humanity, so not as good. Cetra definitely had the best offer out of anyone possible.
I like this Pyrana. I think I'm gonna end up keeping it as my secondary.
Hell yeah, he loves the shotgun pistol.
It's so far it's only the second second shotgun that I've actually genuinely enjoyed playing with. The other one was the Ceto Prime.
I was talking with a friend though, because we were like on call, and I was just reading up Iron Hands while we were chatting.
Mm-hmm.
I did not realize and we were talking because he plays Space Wolves too.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking, and it was to the point I was like, I think Iron Hands are more hardcore than any other Space Marine chapter.
Yes, but again, their lore has not met mainstream yet. It hasn't become a casualty yet. So
No, but it's interesting to when you compare it to the other chapters of just compared to Iron Hands. I look at every other chapter and I'm like, wow, you guys are actually loyal, because Iron Hands are so hardcore. They borderline on they straight up borderline on being heretics, which is wild to me.
yeah, I could see that one. That's true. That would probably be the only chapter that if the Emperor were to wake up and not have any recognition of what's happened since he got put on the throne, that would probably be one of the only ones that he still recognizes. That and maybe Ultramarines. I don't think he would recognize the other chapters.
True. I mean, Space Wolves are
They're
honestly,
fucking
if not,
blue.
They
were gray. They were gray in the Heresy. They're the
Oh,
only
man.
loyalist chapter to change colors.
I mean, at the same time, it's also not that vastly different compared to what their new color is.